Each screen is showing a very different side of the industry, and what we're trying to ask people is if we think there's any way to consume products that come from animals, eggs,
I don't consume animals.
You don't? Are you vegetarian?
I'm a vegan.
So I haven't gone vegan, but I like second choice myself, looking at menus and stuff and what I'm cooking with and things. It's just,
So you've had a little bit of exposure to it.
Yeah.
Because of me.
Yeah. Has it been difficult for you
No,
so far?
I mean, it's been a good experience, really. I mean, trying different foods and everything, just experiencing, you don't have to cook with meat or like eggs all the time. So there's other things that you use. And,
For sure.
Yeah, and it's like, it doesn't take anything away from the food or anything, it just adds to it. Really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. The big thing is that, just give them a good life, at least something, but it's just, there's so few places that do. I mean, some places do, but it's just, not on the scale of places that don't, basically.
Yeah.
So
If I had brought two pet dogs with me here, and one had a really miserable life, maybe it was abused, really low quality life, and the other had an amazing life.
Right.
And I was going to kill one of them in front of you.
Yeah, it's hard to choose, isn't it? It's like.
Do you think is it perhaps more cruel to kill the life of an animal that really values its life?
Well, yeah, it's the thing, isn't it? It's like you can't really choose the life of an animal and say that life is greater than mine. It's even if it had a shit life or a good life, it's still a life.
Yeah, it's true. And one thing I like to bring up with people is that you don't even necessarily have to decide that the life of an animal is equal to yours.
Right.
You may end up believing that, but even if you don't, I think the more important question is are my taste buds more important than the life of that animal? That's really the question, whether or not you think they're equal to you.
Just met a homeless man. I can't watch this.
Oh no, it's okay. Well, that's very kind. Yeah, no, it's very kind. I think by feeding, when we feed someone that's homeless, right, we're basically extending our compassion to those that might be more vulnerable than us, right?
It is.
More in need. And that's the same message here. The same message here, just other beings that are innocent, that are vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
And we can either extend our compassion to, or we can pay for their abuse and their killing, That's the idea, really.
Yeah, it is sad.
I can already tell. You must be such a compassionate person if you're coming from. Yeah. Have you guys seen footage like this before?
Yeah, I have.
You have? What have you seen? Where have you guys seen it? This is the egg industry specifically right here. Do you know about the egg industry?
Not that one yet.
So only girls can lay eggs, right? Boys don't lay eggs?
Yeah.
So boys are put on a conveyor belt so this is what happens to them. This is only boys that are put on this conveyor belt, and they're ground up alive on the day that they're born in the egg industry. And that's because they'll never make a profit for the egg industry. When we go to the grocery store and we buy a carton of eggs, or we go to the diner and we get an omelet, we are contributing and paying with our hard-earned money, giving it to companies that do this to animals on our behalf. And they only do it because we create a demand for it by paying for it.
And that's here.
This is in the US, this is in the UK, this is everywhere. This is standard practice in the egg industry. This is a machine that the girls are put on rather than being ground up. This machine holds their head in place and cuts their beak off with a hot knife with no anesthetic.
I'm sick to my stomach.
Why do you think we might do that to chickens? Cut their beaks off. Why would we do that to them?
So they don't cry, they don't.
You're very close. We keep egg-laying chickens in such horrible, stressful conditions that they'll be so stressed and anxious they can't perch, they can't roam, they don't get any sunshine. They'll just start pecking at each other out of desperation. And we cut their beaks off so that when they do start pecking at each other, they won't hurt each other.
That's like throwing my kid in there.
Imagine if at the grocery store, at the checkout counter, when you bought a carton of eggs, you had to buy 12 eggs and then you also had to throw 12 boy chickens into a blender. Because that is what we pay for when we pay for these products.
To be honest, I would
that's
rather
what I
eat
want.
veggie.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
So I started having less meat in my diet.
Yeah.
I started eating more vegetables. So I mean, not every day, but it's more and more often.
Yeah.
Because of what I see on TV, it just Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
It's kind of like me seeing a homeless man, and I can't. You know, it's
totally. You seem like a very compassionate person. So let's talk about other animals that we don't farm. Like for instance, dogs and cats. We all love dogs and cats, right?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a moral difference between harming a dog and harming a pig?
No.
Do you think they deserve the same rights?
Yeah, they deserve the same rights.
So if you found out that I like abused my dog really badly, horrible, right?
I would just hate you.
Right, you would hate me. But what if I said, okay, you know what? You're right. It's not great. I'm only going to abuse that dog once a week.
No, you're still horrible.
I'm still horrible.
Yeah.
So if we cut back on our consumption of meat and dairy and eggs, and we only eat it once a week,
I'm still horrible.
is that still? No, I am not going. You are not horrible. I don't think you are a bad person. I don't think anyone that eats meat is a bad person, but I do think that good people can do bad things, can contribute to harmful things, as I did my whole life.
Yeah.
So not here to judge at all, right? Because we don't know. We don't know what we're paying for.
No, we don't know. We don't really know what happens behind closed doors.
Yeah.
We don't, you know. That's why it's kind of nice for me to like have them see what's actually out there.
Yeah,
you know?
and this is just eggs, obviously. But you know, dairy. Do you know what happens in the dairy industry? It's not pretty.
I don't think they want to see.
We don't have to see it, but you know, it might be worth asking the question: why do cows make milk? Do you know why they make milk?
So we can have milk, right?
Think they make it
Cheerio?
Do you think they're making it for us?
Probably not.
It's okay. I didn't know either. I used to think actually that if we didn't milk cows, their udders would explode.
They're being forced to make milk, are they?
They make milk for the same reason every animal makes milk, including human animals. They make milk because they had a baby, and they're making milk for their babies. So in order for us to get milk, we actually forcibly impregnate cows on a device called a rape.
They're being raped?
They're impregnated on a device called a rape rack. They're constrained. We shove our arm up their bodies. We grip their cervix, and then we inject them with bull semen. You don't even want to know how we get the bull semen. We inject them with it. They go through a 9-month pregnancy. Once they have their baby, they're very maternal animals, like most mammals are. We separate the mother and calf from each other in the first week. And so we'll rob the calf away. They'll never see each other again. And the mother calf will bellow for days, look in the same spot. We have footage of it, but I know you don't want to see it. We'll look in the same spot, chase after the truck that takes the calf, and then she'll be hooked up to these uncomfortable milking machines twice a day, every day. And we'll take the milk for our consumption. So you probably don't think of yourself as somebody who still breastfeeds.
No.
But if you're drinking milk, so if very kind people, like all of you all seem like very empathetic, compassionate people. If someone like you isn't able to extend their circle of compassion to other beings, isn't able to create the change in their life they would want to see to stop the suffering, who are we waiting to do it then, right? Who are we waiting for if not ourselves?
That is true.
If we hate seeing this, if we would never want this to happen, if we couldn't do it ourselves, but we're not willing to remove ourselves, who are we waiting for exactly? What are we waiting for?
What are we waiting for? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know. You ever watch, it's kind of like watching child sex trafficking.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. There is a difference though.
There is a difference.
The difference is that when...
Similar.
I don't mean to say it's any better or any worse or anything. I don't mean to say one's better than the other. But what I do think is interesting is that when you see, you know, genocide in Myanmar or child sex trafficking or anything else, you know, it's horrible, it's despicable. What can you do? What can you do? You know, if there was something you could do, you probably would. This only happens. This is only happening because we pay for it. We are the perpetrators of this violence as the consumers, you know. And if we didn't pay for it, they wouldn't be doing it. Would you be interested in trying a vegan meal at some point and in dipping your toes into it? And if not, you can tell me, but I'm curious where you stand. Because if not, I would want to know what would keep you from it. I'm curious.
No, I'm willing to try it.
You are?
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Well, let me give you this. This is a really helpful resource because if you think about it, like if I had brought any of these, a cow or a pig or a chicken here, and I was holding it, we'd be petting it, we'd be going crazy over it, right? You would freak out if I went to hurt it.
I would probably attack you.
You would, right?
I would.
Right? But then we pay people to do things to animals just like it. We would never do ourselves, and we pay for it. Definitely the most open-hearted, compassionate people I've spoken to today. Truthfully, seeing people willing to open up their hearts to what they're seeing and have a reaction is really powerful. Because it's a lot easier. Well, it's just a lot easier not to look, right?
I don't know, because I did, we did walk past a homeless man.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, let's just go to the ATM and grab some. A few bucks. Grab some funnel cake. We bought 3. I gave him 1. And I just felt like shit.
Absolutely.
Because, he shouldn't be sitting there where all these people is eating and enjoying.
Right.
It really, So I gave him 1. And he was happy, I'm enjoying farmers market food. So it's...
And you would probably, when you look back on that, you would probably say it was so easy, right? You go buy a funnel cake, you give it to him, it's so easy, right? And you've done this act of good. I think this is the same thing, It's so easy to just simply, you're in the dairy section, you reach for the milk, you take one more step, and you reach for the almond milk or the soy milk or the rice milk or the hazelnut milk, right? It's those decisions, it's so easy, right? You're at Chipotle, instead of getting the chicken burrito, you get the vegetable burrito with guacamole, right? Beans, veggies, right? It's just those little decisions, just like you did with that homeless guy, that all of a sudden you completely get to remove yourself from these industries.
It's just the greatest feeling, It's like, you've done something.
I can't wait for you to see what it's like to experience that 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because it feels so good. When all of a sudden every meal feels like an act of kindness.
Oh, hey, Ryan. I'm doing something really nice today.
I think you'll feel really empowered by what you find. I don't think you'll be weighed down with guilt or anything. I think you'll find a lot of empowerment. We wouldn't be out here on a Saturday afternoon doing it if it wasn't something that was fulfilling, if it hadn't brought us great satisfaction, It feels really good not to hurt animals. Believe me, it feels really good.
It's nice that you guys are out here doing this,
It's nice that we can have this conversation.
This is nice. I think this is the most pleasant conversation ever.
Oh, that's so nice. Well, we're not here to judge anybody or make anyone feel bad. It's just these are simply, I think, people ought to know what they're paying for. And if they don't want to look at it, if it's not good enough for your eyes, then why would it be good enough for your stomach,
Well, people need to know the truth, you know? I mean, I would want to know what I'm eating or where it's coming from or, you know what I mean? So, well, now I'm just going to go home and research.
That's awesome. You definitely should. And it's awesome because I think I said this already. There's nothing you eat now you can't eat an awesome vegan version of.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I don't want to give up my meat.
Yeah.
But, but...
Not your meat.
Okay, no.
It was never ours, right?
No, but, it's like, if I have I do have a choice, okay? Like, I don't care if I eat meat or not.
If you eat.
I don't care if I don't have to eat meat.
Yeah.
It's not going to bother me.
Yeah.
I would rather eat veggie. I'm fine,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't want to keep you guys. We've been talking for so long. I don't want to.
I know, we could.
I know, we definitely could. Please feel free to reach out, though. You're more than welcome to.
Definitely.
Yeah, if you have any questions or anything, some great resources on that website.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, hey, it was great to talk to you.
So nice talking to you.
Yeah, you seem like such a kind person. I'm so happy we got to chat. I can tell. Well, that's all we can do, right? Right? None of us are perfect, but then once we know better, then we can start to do better.
Oh, yeah. You have to go closer.
Yeah.